graduation picture, snacks, everything included. You know, like in college, you have to take a foreign language. Well, at the 5-minute university, you can have your choice. Any language you want, you can take it. Say if you want to take Spanish, what I teach you is, ¿Cómo está usted? That means, how are you? And the answer is, muy bien, means very well. And believe me, if you took 2 years of college Spanish, 5 years after you're out of school, ¿Cómo está usted? Muy bien, about all you're going to remember. So in my school, that's all you learn. You see, you don't have to waste your time with conjugations, vocabulary, all that junk. You just forget it anyway, now what's the difference? Economics, supply, and demand. That's it. Business is you buy something and you sell it for more. Theology, I'm going to have a theology department, you know, since I'm a priest on the right. And what you have to learn in theology is the answer to the question, where is God? And the answer is, God is everywhere. Why? Because He likes you. That's kind of a combination of the Disney and Roman Catholic philosophy. It's just perfect for the late 70s or early 80s, you know. Just perfect. Well, after the courses are all over, then it's a time for a little Easter vacation. No time to go to Fort Lauderdale. Only lasts like 20 seconds. But what I do for you, I like to turn on the sun lamp. You know, I give you a little glass of orange juice. That's the snack part, orange juice. And then after vacation, you know, after you swallow it real quick, then it's a time for the final exams. I say to you, ¿Cómo está usted? You say, muy bien. Where is God? The God is everywhere. Economics is supply and demand. Then I put on your cap and a gown. I get out to my Polaroid, the camera. You know, make a little snap and flash a picture for you. I give you the picture. You give me $20. I give you the diploma. And you're a college graduate, ready to go. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure, right next door to the 5-minute university, I might have opened up a little law school. You know, you got another minute?
Okay. So, you can think of that as a version of Permastore, if you remember saying that. If whatever you remember after 5 years go by. It also kind of underlines the point that we all forget a lot of stuff. And, you know, the cognitive psychology view of memory is that there only so much gets in, less of that actually gets registered. Some of that gets lost, so you've got kind of bits and pieces of things in there. And so like all memory, including autobiographical memory, is sort of bits and pieces, kernels of information, we weave stories around it. So it's kind of a creative process, I think. Interesting to think about what people are telling you when they tell you about their past lives. Talk a little bit about what tends to happen in interventions. Focus on memory because we're focusing on memory today. This could be just about anything. So typically, you've got young and old people starting out at some point, and you've got younger people are going to be better on the memory task, almost all memory tasks before your intervention than the older adults are. And actually, one interesting question is, well, what can you do about the change? And let's assume, to start off with, that actually, for the young people, we don't do anything. And for the older people, we do an intervention. So since we didn't do anything with the young people, maybe they improve a little bit because we tested them twice. Probably not going to make a huge difference, but maybe it makes a little bit of a difference. And with the older adults, the change for them is pretty flat. For the older adults, depending on the intervention, most likely what you're going to have happen is something like that. There's going to be a shrinking of the distance between the young people and the old people, but not a disappearance of the distance. It's far and away the most common outcome that we get. Every now and then, you'll get something that's, again, you're not doing anything with the younger adults. Every now and then you get something where the older adults are the same, even more rarely, maybe even a little better. But all of this assumes that you're not doing anything with the young people. And it's, when you have the ability to control this, like you do in the lab, and maybe occasionally in the real world, it's kind of an interesting program and policy choice. If you can do this, you might actually eliminate, certainly at least greatly shrink young and old people's differences. If you do something for both of them, most likely, not only are the younger adults also going to improve, they'll probably improve more. And this is not just an age thing. This is kind of a general intervention issue with any two groups of people where you start off with one group that's disadvantaged for some reason. If the advantaged people also get the intervention, they'll improve at least as much as disadvantaged people. And a lot of times the very fact that they're more advantaged at the beginning, before they get the intervention, means that they'll make better use of the intervention. They'll actually end up, so you end up with an even wider gap afterwards than you would before. I don't know that it all happened for exactly this reason, but several decades ago, the Head Start program got started with the idea if you provide preschool to lower SES kids, you'll help them make up the gap that's there because they're disadvantaged by poverty, and so they would start school at the same level with the middle class and up kids, and you'd eliminate poverty in one generation. In the 60s, I believed this. Now it's a little difficult to say with a straight face. It seemed like back in the Johnson years, like we might actually get rid of poverty, or at least increase it for a while. So, of course, what happens is, to the extent that Head Start preschool seems to work, the middle class people also want preschool. Now everybody gets preschool. The middle class and up kids benefit even more than the lower income kids do. And at best, you've got the same gap you always have. Probably you have an even bigger gap. And you also have kids that don't have any time to play because they're learning stuff while they're still in the crib, or sometimes still in the womb, right, with educational games. But by the way, it's actually not clear that they do a whole lot for people.